Podcast.
Yeah.
Podcast.
You guys went up and
Oh yeah.
I went low with it.
Podcast.
Yo, podcast.
We can do it in a round.
Yeah, that's true.
Podcast. Podcast.
Podcast. Yeah, that was great. I gave myself chills.
That was good.
Yeah.
Welcome to Small Town Film Ghosts. My
We-
name is Todd Weiser.
We are the Benedictine monks of where were they from? Chant? Do you guys remember Chant? I had that on tape.
What's the joke from a trip in Spain where it's like no, I can't remember it.
I'm Julie Furness.
I'm Jared Rassick.
Todd Weiser again. Yeah, welcome to Small Town Film Ghosts. It's currently post Globes, and a little bit later in the episode we're gonna get into our thoughts on the Golden Globes now that awards season 2021 has officially kicked off. Also, though, we do want to take some time and just talk about what is still playing on the virtual site at tinpantheater.com and through Eventive. I know it can be kind of hard to figure out what's playing these days. There's probably a lot of different sources that you're trying to watch movies through, and I'm sure even if you really are making an effort to try and watch stuff through your local independent cinema's website, it's still kind of hard to get a rundown of what's out there.
Yeah, we really appreciate all of you who have been clicking away at our site. Think of it as shopping local.
Yeah.
When you go downtown and you go and you support a restaurant downtown or a shop or a local coffee shop, it's the same idea. Click on our site, go and click on a virtual film, and you are supporting us directly. So you will get to these films, and they are in different categories. There's new titles, narrative features, documentary features, and so on. So some of the things that are still on. Let's see here. A Glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah. That was quite the movie.
Yeah, definitely a weird one. I do feel like I've noticed over the last week or two, there's been a lot actually written on this movie. Like I keep seeing headlines.
It's getting more and more press the longer it's out.
Definitely. I think it's one of those movies that I think is sort of spreading through word of mouth a bit.
Yeah.
And so if you have been hearing about this movie and you are interested, we really appreciate if you want to watch the movie to do it through our website. Again, best way to support us. And I mean, we talked a lot about it during our episode on that movie, and it's an interesting doc. It might not be about exactly what you're expecting when you go into it, but if you are intrigued by the concept and you've read articles and write-ups about this movie and it intrigues you enough, I think it's still worth watching.
Definitely. I've never seen anything like it.
No, it's very unique, and it's a little. It'll make your head explode a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
That's a good way to put that. I would say.
And
there's no way to not after you watch the documentary, there's no way to not be interested in that subject anymore.
Really, honestly, I mean, especially if you're into true crime or if you're into hardcore, nonfiction or science fiction, all of that. So. Another one that's been up for a while, Identifying Features. And this is The Power of a Mother's Love Leads to a Shocking Revelation. I will not reveal that shocking revelation.
We do not like to give spoilers in our descriptions on our website. We try very hard to keep spoilers out of our descriptions.
Yeah.
But Identifying Features was... From what I understand, it was a big hit at Sundance, and so it's one of those movies that I think because it was a big hit in a normal year, it would have gotten really spread around through cinemas. But again, in this weird time, it's sort of getting lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think again, the press that's been written about this movie as a Spanish language feature, it's a thriller, it's a drama. It's definitely one of those that's again worth checking out. As a Sundance hit, because the the few images that are out there, it might not seem that interesting, but I think it's a good thriller
for sure. And a lot of you out there who like to watch the Sundance darlings, so to speak, at the beginning of the year, I know you're out there. There's always a list you can find, and then of course, go and find it somewhere. Especially right now when the future of movie theaters right now is a little uncertain. As we mentioned, we might be opening to the public soon, maybe April. I don't know.
Pretty exciting.
Regal is rumored to open in May, but we're still on the fence.
So. There's a Facebook group that's all people that have worked at movie theaters in Bend.
Oh boy.
Like the spreading information. And as we've been sitting here, they're saying October for a Regal.
Interesting.
I mean, that's the rumor, and that's all that Facebook page is. Okay. So I just think that's fascinating that like every time we talk about
even more,
movie theaters, it can change within seconds.
Yeah, even more so to go to our site and check out a foreign film. How about Two of Us?
Ooh.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I would say of everything that's currently available on our website, I think Two of Us is the one I would recommend most.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's the. I don't know if it's going to make the nominations for Best International Film at the Oscars, but it's definitely France's official selection to do so.
I'd be shocked if it didn't. I mean, what a movie.
Yeah. And and usually, again, you can sometimes get a feeling for what movies are getting the press and attention leading up to that, and I think Two of Us has been mentioned a lot. Like it was because it was nominated for a Golden Globe. It's highly likely it will also get nominated for an Oscar.
Right. Yeah. And the Golden Globes is basically a preview of films mostly.
Yeah.
We will get into that
every once in a while. There's an outlier.
That will definitely be a topic of discussion in a few minutes.
Yeah. But this, I think we were so lucky to get this film, Two of Us, and if you haven't seen it, please check it out before it leaves our virtual site.
Please, you will be glad you saw this one for sure.
Totally. If you are a movie buff in Bend, if you're someone who has frequented Tin Pan a lot, this movie is absolutely one of the movies that would pack our house and fill the seats. I don't think it's one that you want to miss if you are a movie fan in Bend or in Deschutes County.
Yeah,
agreed.
Absolutely agree.
Bring some tissues.
Yeah. Well.
Or don't.
Well, you'll be at home when you watch it, so.
Oh, so you probably already have some tissues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or toilet paper.
Yeah. Bring some toilet paper.
Yeah.
Although that's not a guarantee anymore either that you have toilet paper.
That's true. Oh boy, what do we know about Hill of Freedom?
This movie, I'm afraid I have not read much about. It's one that's kind of fallen through the cracks for me. I do know that this is a bit of an older film. It's from 2014. It's one of these movies that made the festival rounds for a couple of years. I don't know if it ever got like full distribution, but because it's a movie that's kind of hard to get a hold of, our website is one of the few places you can watch this movie. So if you are, I think if you are very interested in Korean movies, which current modern Korean cinema is some of the best movie making that's happening these days.
Yeah.
And so this movie is a bit of a deeper cut. It's probably not going to be much like what we're used to from the Bong Joon-ho's or the Park Chan-wooks of this world, but it's one of those little festival films that went around a bunch of festivals. It's also pretty short. It's only 68 minutes.
It's only 68 minutes, and I think that it kind of made a resurgence a little bit after Parasite came out, and after South Korean films started to get more popular, more mainstream. This one kind of dug itself out again and found its way onto a lot of virtual sites. So it's worth checking out for sure.
Yep. Coming up, well, actually, if you are listening to this episode when we have released it, already on our website, we will be playing Stray, which is the documentary. Again, I'm pretty sure from the same team that did Kedi, which was about the stray cats in Istanbul, and this movie is about the stray dogs in Istanbul. And Jared is on mic as previously saying that Kedi is a movie that he can't can't get out of his brain.
I really can't. There's something especially sad about stray animals to me, like ones that are. I mean, there's the one aspect of like it's nice that they're out there being free or whatever, but half the time they're also starving and in danger all the time.
And cats and dogs are different in the way.
Exactly.
Like cats are pretty resilient.
Right.
A lot of them a lot of them starving, but dogs, it's so different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like dogs want to be around people.
Yeah.
They need to be around people.
They're social animals for sure.
And cats kind of
they're
don't
independent.
Care, and they hunt and they, so this one I am gonna watch, but I'm gonna wait a little bit.
I feel pretty confident. We don't know this for sure, but I feel like we will probably be talking about this movie in an upcoming episode.
Yeah.
I think we this one's too. It feels too noteworthy to not cover an episode coming out.
For sure.
I think maybe the only other thing to say too is that you can still watch Minari through a link we have that will come back to us. I know that Minari can be found elsewhere, but you can still watch it through A24's virtual screenings, and we have a link both on our Linktree as well as on our website that if you click those links specifically, we will benefit from the virtual screening that you watch of Minari.
We can't thank you enough every single time that you do that.
Yeah, it's we very much appreciate it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
all right.
I think that's most of what's playing. Again, if we just want to remind you of stuff that we have playing, if you've missed some things, as well as what's coming up. Otherwise, I think we're gonna get into our discussion about the Golden Globes here in a second.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna talk so hard about it.
This is I've once heard like award season as being sports for nerds, and I feel like it's like the one time of the year is like film nerds. It's like every time I tell myself I'm not gonna get that invested in the award season, and then every year I get invested.
Yeah. Every time they just pull me back in.
They pull me back in.
Yeah,
man.
every time.
All right, we will be back in a second. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey everybody, it's Todd here. Thanks for listening to this week's episode. We hope you are interested in still listening to our thoughts on the outcome of the Golden Globes, even though the ceremony happened a week and a half ago. On that note, though, the BAFTA nominations were just announced. You can go look at those, and you can tell that they're pretty close to the Golden Globes, but definitely have their differences. I think they're always worth checking out to see probably what's going to be closer to the Oscars, which the Oscar nominations are going to be announced this Monday, March 15th, if you're like us and you like following the movie awards season. Also, we hope you are interested in what is currently playing and upcoming on the Tin Pan virtual site. There are a few things to add. One, we're going to get The Father on the virtual Tin Pan site, which is the new Anthony Hopkins movie. And that's up for a bunch of awards, including some Globes and BAFTAs and Oscars. We should have that movie available to watch through our website on March 26th. 2, the virtual edition of our Indie Women Film Fest is happening next week. And those films will be available through the virtual Tin Pan, just like everything else we've been showing over the past year. Also, we have a new Take 4 series on our YouTube page, hosted by Jared. His episodes are going to come out every Friday this month. The first one just came out last week. And then he's going to do his episode on Morven Caller this coming Friday. Also The Lobster, and then a Ghost Story he's going to do at the end of the month. So yeah, go check those out on the YouTube page if you want to see Jared do some awesome film lectures. Please donate as always if you can. Again, that link to do it is benfilmmembership.eventive.org/donate. You can also, again, go to the Linktree if you want to see a lot of the stuff that's going on. That's linktr.ee/benfilm or /benfilm festival. One of the two, I can't remember. Also, check out our Instagram if you want to see updates. Like, subscribe, and comment to everything we do. It keeps us knowing that people are engaged and you want to keep listening to our stuff. Also, remember that the film festival is going to happen this October. Probably going to be a little combination of virtual and and in person, again, depending on how things go. We're probably going to open up the theater this coming April in a hybrid capacity of both private rentals, outside stuff, and new movies. Everything's changing, we're just trying to figure it out week by week. But we appreciate you listening. Thanks so much, everybody. It's nice to know that everyone's still supporting us in any way that you can. Okay, everybody, I'll let you get back to the episode and listen to our thoughts on the Golden Globes. Thanks.
Podcast.
Wow, dude.
Podcast. Podcast.
I didn't know that we were doing a podcast with the band Tool today. Hello, Tool. Welcome to the podcast.
Or is this a stomp?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I remember the first time I saw their bit with the brooms. I was like, "That's the coolest thing I've ever seen." And then people just ripped it off for like another 15
Stomp
years.
was one of the weirdest things in the early 2000s. Like,
even weirder than Blue Man Group.
I mean, they're in the same sphere.
Yeah.
Like the culture in the 2000s could have only created like the Blue Man Group and Stomp. Back, it was back in that era when public schools were really trying to encourage kids to get into band. And music.
Yeah, totally. You can do anything. You can make music too, kids.
It worked on me.
No, hey, you know what? In my high school, we had football players who, at halftime, took off their helmets and started playing the tuba. So, I mean,
What a golden age that doesn't exist anymore.
Well-rounded. I know. That was not the 2000s. That was before, when kids were responsible. I don't know.
That's
different.
fair.
I don't know. Honestly, I think Generation Z is going to save us all.
Yeah.
I think yeah. They're the kids that are going to save us. Okay.
Golden Globes. Woo! Tangent. Okay.
All right. My name's Todd Leiser.
I'm Jared Razzard.
I'm Julie Furness.
And welcome to our Golden Globes discussion. Post awards. I know when you're listening to this, it's been more than a week since then. But hopefully you're still interested in hearing our thoughts. This show is always weird, but it's the kickoff to award season. One way that I've heard it described as it's the Iowa caucuses of award season.
It is.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it is a good way to put it. It's something to look forward to. Sam, our wonderful engineer, and I this morning we're talking about how sucky January is, and then February comes along and there's a little bit of like lighterness. It's like
Yeah.
You get the Golden Globes, you get
this
Super Bowl, you get.
This year's weird because usually the Golden Globes happen in like mid-January.
Or even like closer to I guess end of January. But yeah, this was weird, and even weirder because we knew that it was gonna be different.
Yeah, the combination of virtual and person. So for me, this was the first like virtual awards show I'd seen. I did not see the Emmys. I also did not see the virtual DNC, which I heard like good reviews about from people who are looking at like the Democratic National Convention as a like live TV event. My understanding, if anyone else saw the Emmys, like that was pretty much all virtual, correct?
That was all virtual, yes. And that was also odd. But this, I mean, at least with because the Emmys, it was the same. I mean, some of the groups, like Schitt's Creek, for example, they got together. They had their own kind of room to themselves.
Yeah.
They had like tables, and whatever. Most people, though, like were by themselves. They were at home, but this year they did have, it looked like about maybe 20, 25 tables, and it was every other one was occupied by first responders.
Oh, wow. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, and plus too, one of the ways they also did it was the Golden Globes took place in two different locations.
Which LA and
yeah,
New York.
allowed them to spread out and make make it made the integration of virtual and in person seem more seamless. Like it made the in person feel bigger than it could have.
I think that was their intention.
Totally.
I mean, I don't see why Amy and Tina couldn't have been on the stage together.
Yeah, that's true.
In LA and just have it like I think it caused some like just weirdness. I don't know. Like I don't. I kind of feel like it was unnecessary.
They never could get a rhythm going. Really, it seems.
Yeah, like. and comedians like if it's a duo like that, like Tina and Amy are genius comedians. They need to play off each other.
Right.
They need to hear each other to play off of each other.
Yeah.
And this, you could tell there was delay. I mean, think of the time change for them. For them, And then if there's a sound delay or whatever. I mean, it just I love their work, but it was awkward.
I will say, for as much as it definitely was not perfect, a lot of it did feel pretty seamless to me. Like I feel like there was a lot where like the two of them were going back and forth with their monologue pretty seamlessly, and it was just the fact that whenever a hiccup would happen, it was very obvious.
It was very obvious,
right.
And it was mostly audio, and it was just timing. Like, and when they're together, their timing, like, Jared and I watched the monologue from 2013 this morning, which was their first time hosting. Yeah, and it was brilliant. And, it was the timing. It was fast. It was funny.
Yeah,
it was
great.
Joke after joke after and this one was like, okay, you were like waiting for the punchline, and then you were like waiting for the other one to go, and then it was just like this back and forth, and I don't know.
Yeah, I will say that I think it seems like during this entire pandemic year, 2 years, there's been a lot of experimentation with like live TV events. Yeah. But there still hasn't been anything where like something that totally works.
And it can't work because they play off the audience as well. And so when they're picking on someone in the audience,
there was none of that.
You can't do that.
Right.
They're picking on someone who's watching virtually, who's laughing at home, who they can't hear.
Yeah.
Who are then is supposed to be funny to these first responders who are like, oh, haha, I mean, it's just different. Mm-hmm. It's really different.
And I doubt it's something that anybody wants to get used to, or that too much effort is going to be put into making it something that everyone gets used to. Like everybody in Hollywood wants this to be over. As soon as possible.
I mean,
like I just recently tried to watch some wrestling a few weeks ago, and they're just. They have cardboard cutouts.
It's every game. I mean, the Trailblazers games they've been playing this week, and it's weird.
The thing I want to talk about most on this subject that I think was maybe the worst decision that was made by the Holland for the HFPA for this telecast were those screens before the commercial breaks, where all of the nominees at home. The nominees were at home the whole time, looking at their screens, waiting until their moments were happening, and then the main camera for the telecast would go to this wall of screens where they would try to get the nominees to like chat with each other over virtual, and like that was
it was squeamish.
It was the worst thing of like. I felt like everything else during the telecast I could understand is like, okay, like they're doing the best thing they can in this moment. But that was the most obvious moment of like, you guys should have seen from like a million miles away that this was a bad idea.
Yeah,
and you
it
still
wasn't
went
going
through
to
with
work. You should have had the host talk to them, do banter back and forth, or the presenter talk back and forth to someone. Like, hey, like what. Where are you tonight? Or who are you wearing? Or who's that with you on the couch? Like, oh, Jodie Foster, your dog is on your lap.
Some stuff like that. Like
talk. No, don't have this like awkward. I don't know. It just didn't work. That
it was never not awkward.
Yeah,
never not awkward.
There was almost this thought of me that like, were the producers thinking, hey, this will remind everyone of their own awkward Zoom chats they've been having this last year. Look how the stars are having it. Like,
look, they can do it.
God, like if that
they
was
can do it better than you.
My God. Like,
oh my God.
What tone deafness? My God.
I know, right? I mean, and even like so the winner would be announced, and then they would show the losers, like they usually do.
Sure, yeah.
And so they had to be on camera, right? They had to be camera ready.
Yep.
All the time at home.
Right. Yeah. And like so often too. I mean, I will say it felt like a lot of the nominees were like everyone pretty much had this sense of like, yeah, this is super weird. I'm not too worked up about things. But obviously, like every time someone won, there was obviously like a second or two delay because you could tell that their name would be announced and then they would have a reaction.
Like, do you think? How do you think they did that? Do you think that like they got like okay, so they heard the presenter. I guess they could hear the presenter.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And then it was like okay, unmute, like do your thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, well, because there was only one big kerfuffle in the whole night. I mean, like, and it was kind of great that it was at the very beginning of the show.
Thankfully, yeah. Because then they must have reminded everybody, hey, we'll unmute you, because you gotta mute yourself too.
Because some of what I read afterwards, a lot of people were under the impression that it seemed like Daniel Kaluuya himself didn't realize he was on mute. But I find it hard to believe that anyone could be allowed to put themselves on mute for that show. Like I would have assumed the producers were like, nobody can.
Absolutely,
they have control of it.
They will control it because they would not let that many people have control of their own mute button. No way.
Yeah. So like it had to have been on the producer's
side. Yeah. Well, should we run through the winners? And I say, we go through and say this is a yay or nay. Like you agree with it or you don't. Mm-hmm. And a quick, if you don't agree with it, why?
Okay. Yeah, I'm down. All right. Do we want to start from the top or the bottom? Okay, actually, for one, I will say, the Globes are kind of an anomaly for the fact like they're the only award show that does both TV and movies together.
Yeah.
Right. And I will say, like, I know I am more of a movie person, so a lot of times, like the TV stuff, that's when I'm getting up and getting myself a drink.
Yeah, say no comment on those, okay? Because you don't watch a ton of TV like I did last year. Because I mean, for me, again, I've said this in prior podcasts that 2020 was a TV year for me,
totally.
A streaming year, and especially since Netflix had 27 nominations anyway. I watched most of them. So, I mean, and a lot of my favorites from Netflix are on this list.
Yeah,
so.
It's
cool.
There's a good lineup.
All right, we start from the bottom of the top.
Let's start at the bottom.
Cool. Let's see. I'm looking off of IMDb's Golden Globe winner list.
Okay. I'm on GoldenGlobes.com.
Oh.
Well, we could start with best performance by an actor in a television supporting role.
First, Norman Lear getting the Carol Burnett Award, I thought
was great, and Jane Fonda was amazing. Yeah, I mean, and can I just add that I'm a sucker for montages, and the Oscars and the Golden Globes rarely put that much footage out, as I've been told by historians and curators. It's very rare for them to do that. So her montage was insane.
It was
Oh my, yeah. It was incredible and insane. A little long, but it was amazing.
There's only been like a few times when sometimes I feel like a montage is not great at the award shows, because otherwise, like, the montages are sometimes like what one watches the award show for, because the montages are great.
All of it, and I could watch just all of it.
One thing I'll quickly say, like, just to last thing I'll say about the Jane Fonda. I had a moment watching that where like I realized watching that montage and watching her acceptance speech how much like there are some actors in Hollywood who even for their liberal political viewpoints can sometimes be blacklisted in some way or another.
Right.
And Jane Fonda is obviously someone who has emerged victorious in her later career, and watching that montage made me think about how in a ways I think the industry has caught up to Jane Fonda.
Sure, and it helped that she was married to Ted Turner for a long time, so there was a protection there.
So and she was Hollywood royalty already.
She was already Hollywood royalty. And so those families, like the Fonda family,
she used her privilege for good.
She did. There was a wall there, so for sure there's some Hollywood families that you don't mess around with. Fonda's one of them. You've got the Barrymores. You've got. I mean, there's we could do a whole podcast.
We could.
All right, best performance by an actor in a television supporting role, John Boyega in Small Axe. I'm so glad to see John like spreading his wings after being a stormtrooper. So he's amazing. My opinion, he can do no wrong, for sure.
And he was kind of I think he was kind of a dark horse winner a little bit because everybody, I think, expected Daniel Levy to get it.
Yeah. The assumption going in was like, again, this was Schitt's Creek year, and so the fact that like there were some that Schitt's Creek didn't get was a surprise.
Yeah, for sure.
Small Axe is amazing though. It's weird that it's considered a television show because it's 5 movies.
Yeah, well, I think the distinction is a little more unclear here in the U.S. I think in the U.K. it's like obviously a BBC production.
Yeah. Best performance by an actor in a limited series or a motion picture made for television, Mark Ruffalo, and I know this much is true. My goodness, Mark Ruffalo can do no wrong. Yeah. I mean, he is just a winner, right? Like everything he does, he's great. And every speech, he's just so gracious.
Oh yeah, he was very prepared for that speech.
Yeah. So gracious. And I love that guy.
Totally.
I only made it maybe half, 3/4 of the way through that first episode of that show because it was literally the saddest thing I've ever seen. So did you guys watch it?
I only saw the previews for it.
Okay. Man, it was rough.
All right, what's next?
We've got best performance by an actor in a television series, musical, or comedy, Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso. Oh my goodness, Jason.
This was one of the most interesting moments of the night.
It really was because he wasn't expecting to win. He was wearing a hoodie. And, he was just like,
One of the things I realized later was that he is in the UK because that's where Ted Lasso season 2 is shooting. Okay. And so he must have been up to like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Oh, right? He looked tired, didn't he?
Totally looked tired. But that acceptance speech also did have the best moment from Don Cheadle, who was basically waving his finger and telling Jason Sudeikis to wrap up.
Tell him to wrap up. He looked tired. He, I don't think he was expecting it. I really thought he thought he was going to just be like relaxing.
Exactly. Yeah. Because again, Eugene Levy was up for Schitt's Creek, and so everyone assumed it was going to be Eugene Levy.
Yeah, Eugene, and I'm actually not that I don't think Jason Sudeikis has done his time as a performer on Saturday Night Live. Ted Lasso is getting a lot of good praise, but Eugene Levy, come on, Schitt's Creek.
I feel like it's one of those things where I think the Emmys was the place for Schitt's Creek to get its due. The Golden Globes is sort of like a
victory lap.
I don't feel like the Golden Globes is like where a lot of like TV shows really want to get their big awards. They make them more for the Emmys.
And the comedy has to be a really specific type of comedy for it to be considered. And Schitt's Creek was like dumb comedy, and the Emmys, it's more fun. So best performance by an actor in a television series or drama, this went to Josh O'Connor for The Crown. As we know, The Crown is going to get awards, period.
Always.
So
it's a prestige show.
It is. Netflix, again, a big winner for Netflix, and basically anyone associated with this show is going to get an award.
That was one of the bigger surprises I thought of the night because Jason Bateman and Bob Odenkirk kind of have been sweeping this back and forth over the last few years.
Yeah.
So I was positive it would be one or the other. I was leaning towards Odenkirk because Better Call Saul just keeps getting better.
And he's due. Like he really is due. So. Best performance by an actress in a television supporting role, Gillian Anderson, again for The Crown. Now, this is an American actress playing a British.
Technically, Gillian Anderson's actually a bit of an anomaly. She's technically like British American, and if you hear interviews with Gillian Anderson on any British show, she speaks with a British accent.
It's kind of like Anya Taylor-Joy too. She was born in Florida, but she's British and Argentinian, and grew up in London. So
Gillian Anderson, she's kind of an anomaly. So like I think she can easily move between American and British
she can
roles.
do anything.
Yeah,
I mean, she's amazing. I'm not sure I agree completely with this award, but
it's the most showiest performance.
It is.
Golden Globes like showy performances.
It is.
I wanted Annie Murphy to win.
I did too.
Yeah. Again,
I wanted
the assumption.
I wanted everyone on Schitt's Creek to win, but best performance by an actress in a limited series, anthology series, or a motion picture made for television, Anya Taylor-Joy for The Queen's Gambit, and my God, yes, this is a huge yes for me.
Yeah,
huge.
I had the assumption that basically any category that Queen's Gambit was in was gonna win.
Oh my gosh!
Right.
Like if you just watch one show. Please watch.
I'll get to
Gambit.
it. I'll get to it.
Oh my gosh, so good. I cried when it's over. It was just part of lockdown that made it so much better for me because it was just it is literally one of the best Netflix produced shows that has come out in the past 5 years, in my opinion. Best performance by an actress in a television series, musical, comedy, Catherine O'Hara. Now she's the only one of the four who took home a statue. Yeah. That's okay though. Yeah. She is due. She was due, and she did amazing.
Yeah. Was her acceptance speech a bit?
Yeah, it was totally. Well, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, he was messing with her,
her husband was like playing stuff on her phone, and like. At first, it seemed like he was messing up, and then it seemed like she turned it into a bit. It was kind of odd, but in a way, it did demonstrate to me again Catherine O'Hara's amazing ability as a improv performer that I couldn't tell, and so if it wasn't, she turned it into one very well.
And I think that we will see. She will come out and say something pretty soon about it.
Probably.
So. That was kind of funny. Best performance by an actress in a television series or drama, Emma Corrin for The Crown. Not surprising whatsoever here. Best limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television, The Queen's Gambit. Yeah. That one was obvious, very obvious. Especially going against what it went against. Mm-hmm. It was incredible. Critics loved this show. Everybody loved this show. There wasn't too many bad things to say about it. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Best television series, musical, or comedy, Schitt's Creek. I mean, for the cast not to win, but for this category for them to win was enough.
Totally.
Enough.
Again, for who
honestly.
The Golden Globes was, I was like, obviously, like that was if they hadn't made that decision, I'd been like, what is wrong with Golden Globes?
Yeah,
especially
I mean,
really. The shows aside from Ted Lasso, which I'm a big fan of, the other shows they were up against were not the greatest either.
Yeah,
so
it was the obvious
they
one.
Their competition wasn't super stiff, so if they didn't take it, it would have been really.
Totally, yeah. And I am so happy for them. I'm so happy for Dan Levy, and I can't wait to see what he does coming up. Best television series drama, The Crown. Duh, we knew that was going to happen. Okay, so all right, moving on up. Best motion picture, foreign language, Minari.
Yeah.
I mean, so obviously in the situation that the Golden Globes is in and that movie is in, it's obviously super happy that Minari won it. The Golden Globes has their own rules as to why that movie was there, because it's technically an American movie and a lot of the dialogue is still in English. It's set in the U.S. It's just because the main characters are a Korean family, and so therefore a lot of the dialogue is in Korean. And because of those rules that the Hollywood Foreign Press Association has, whatever. Obviously I'm glad that Minari won, and it was the obvious choice.
I mean, definitely. I would say that if it was up to me, it would need to be in subtitles, the whole film. But it would need to be distributed from a foreign distributor. But I don't know. It was obviously
and that acceptance speech from Lee Isaac Chung was great.
It was right.
Yeah.
It was.
Do you guys think it deserved
wonderful.
to beat Two of Us?
No. Well, I mean, the category as it stands, Minari obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, like if Minari wasn't there, either Two of Us or I really want to see another round because I've heard really good things about the movie, and I feel like I would have assumed that it would have been between Two of Us or another round if Minari wasn't there.
Yeah.
La Llorona is a really goofy horror movie on Shudder, which
that's
blows
fun.
my mind
Yeah.
that it got nominated.
Yeah. Oh,
Shudder got their first Golden Globe nomination.
Yeah, and I forget that Life Ahead is the movie with Sophia Loren in it, which I need to get to because I've heard that movie's really good.
I'm not so like I don't get so upset about the winners on the Golden Globes as I do Oscar wins. So like I'm kind of like okay, best motion picture animated. My God, if Disney didn't put out a film,
right,
I swear they would still win.
Yeah.
Every year. Soul, beautiful film, amazing. I mean,
it was
really,
great.
really good. The music was incredible. So yeah.
Also, Tracy Morgan's pronunciation of Soul.
Yeah, was funny because I was like, huh, what movie? Oh, Soul. Okay,
there we
got
go.
it. Best original song, motion picture. Yossi, The Life Ahead from the Life Ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Best original score motion picture. Now this I again like Trent Reznor has already won an Oscar, so this I think was nice. This was this is showing that I don't know, Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, and John Batiste for Soul.
Yeah, I mean I think so. Reznor and Ross together. They're at the point where they're winning a lot. I think it's still very well deserved. I think some people might be getting maybe some fatigue from their winning, but I still think they are again very good at what they do. I think the fact that it's their collaboration with Batiste on this movie and it is a departure from what they've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think also the fact that they did it on a Pixar film gave them a nudge towards winning.
Yeah, I mean the fact that Reznor got hired for a Pixar film.
Yeah,
I know.
Okay, come on. Now you have reached the top.
Yeah,
All right?
yeah. Like I don't think.
Yeah, they were still the hottest composers in the industry before, and they are even more so now.
Yeah,
obviously.
I mean,
25-year-old Trent Reznor would not.
No, he would not.
He would not believe that he would
would
win
not.
a Golden Globe
No,
for
he
Disney,
would not.
for scoring a Disney
or
movie.
even working for Disney.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
seriously. Best screenplay motion picture: Aaron Sorkin, The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Yeah, that one made the most sense because Sorkin is the auteur of writers these days. It kind of made the most sense.
Yeah, it did make the most sense.
And if he's gonna win anywhere, like I feel like because Sorkin is starting to direct himself, I think the industry probably treats him a little similar to Tarantino, where like Tarantino always won for writing. He never won for directing.
Right.
And I feel like Sorkin's kind of going to fall into that category too, where like he's going to win for his writing, even if he, continues on as a great director.
I agree. Yeah, always gracious, Aaron Sorkin. Always.
Yeah, and he gives a good speech.
Yeah, always gracious. Always thanks people for supporting him, and
totally.
It's great. So, best performance by an actor in a supporting role in any motion picture. Daniel Kaluuya,
yeah.
And what does any motion picture mean?
Oh, that's because the Golden Globes splits their best picture into the music and comedy and drama, and then they do the same thing for the main lead actor and lead actress awards.
This is overall?
Yeah, when they do their supporting actor awards, they just combine
the two. Okay. Daniel, this guy can do anything. I mean, he is amazing, just in the same right as John Boyega. Really, just incredible, and also Chadwick Boseman, which we'll get to in a minute too. Just really young talent that is going places, and I can't wait to see what else he does.
Plus, it always just feels good to watch Jared Leto lose.
Of course, every time.
And we couldn't have this podcast if we didn't mention how much we love or hate Jared Leto. Was he even there?
He's great in that movie.
Was he?
Fantastic.
Was he even there last night?
He was on
hanging
screen
out?
for a second. Yeah, because Twitter did talk about. So he had like a flower shirt or something, and a mustache, and I don't know.
Jared.
The other Jared.
The
one we don't like.
I begrudgingly love him in that movie.
I know you do.
He gave a better performance than Denzel in that movie.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And Remy Malek.
Okay.
He creates a character.
So maybe you like him now.
Well, I hope he continues not to be the hammer on the thumb where you're like, ow, why'd you do that? Like, blend in, Jared Leto.
Best performance by an actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Oh my God, Sacha Baron Cohen for Borat.
Yeah. This one, again, the musical or comedy category at the Golden Globes is kind of silly because
silly.
Sometimes it just feels like they need to fill it up with stuff,
right?
Because it's kind of an arcane idea to have this separate category for the Globes, but the Globes still holds on to it.
Well, why can't they just call it a comedy then, or a musical?
Like, why does it have to be musical or comedy?
It says motion picture, comma, musical or comedy.
Again, it's this idea that like the thought that the best picture drama is its own separate thing, and somehow musicals and comedies are somehow like
the same,
different enough that like they can't compete with dramas, and so. Again, I think it's an arcane idea of creating his own category. And
it drives me nuts. I'm sorry, because there are musical dramas and there are musical comedies.
Yeah,
totally. And there's movies that are dramatic, and like every year there's a movie where like it could be in either category. Like the year that The Martian was considered in the musical or comedy category at the Golden Globes, it's like okay, I guess the movie's funny, but like. It's not a comedy.
It's not, that's true. I mean, this category drives me nuts every year.
I think it's funny.
It's one of the many reasons the Globes are kind of stupid.
Yeah. And there's like so many years, many years where there's no musical, so it's always just comedy.
Exactly.
And so this one year, we finally get a musical in there, and it loses.
Two musicals.
It freaking loses.
I genuinely thought Hamilton would like pull a few more awards out. I really did. I thought Lin-Manuel Miranda had this one in the bag. I really did.
But I think that crossover from Broadway to film, I really think like we could talk.
Because it's like technically
a live,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
I think that's it's almost unfair. Okay, I mean, it's almost unfair.
In a way, the best thing it was always going to get was just get those nominations.
Get those nominations because I mean Lin-Manuel doesn't need
no.
Yeah.
And again, in many ways, like Borat and it's like Sacha Baron Cohen's creation of that character, because that first movie was such a big hit both critically and commercially. It still holds a really like people, audiences, and the industry itself still looks up to that movie and like cherishes it, and so
they love Sacha. Let's
totally
cut to the chase.
And of course, because the industry does see itself as sort of like a liberal front to far right wing conservatism, because Sacha Baron Cohen created a Borat sequel that was meant to fight against fake news and conspiracy theories. The industry votes for him because it's the industry saying like this is who we are. We want this movie to represent.
Yeah,
us.
Basically, and his speech was great. He thanked his bodyguard for protecting him from getting shot. Yeah. I thought that was hilarious. Best performance by an actor in a motion picture drama: Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. This was probably, this speech in particular made me weep. His wife accepted the award, and she kept saying he would say, he would think. It wasn't her speech; it was his speech.
Totally.
And that it was so meaningful. It was so sad, and it was just. It was a moment, and everybody was crying. The actresses were trying not to cry because their makeup, would have gotten ruined at that point, because it was the first award. I mean, or one of the first awards.
Yes. Of this award season that he's up for that role. It's the first big one.
And so the makeup factor, anyway. So moving on.
But one thing I want to say is one thing that was interesting watching the whole show was realizing that there were so many times when actors were or people receiving awards were getting played off, like the music was playing so many times early in the show, and you realize the producers at some point realize, oh, we need to make sure that Chadwick Boseman's wife gets all the time she needs to
at
for work, because
100%.
you did not hear any music.
You did not hear anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they,
And, you know, I mean, yeah, we heard the music a couple times. I kind of wonder, like, how they did that, too. You know, like, how did they pipe in music? Or I don't, you know, to like, I don't know. That, like, was weird, too. I don't know. Like, it was there, but it was faint. But I don't know. I just couldn't. Yeah. Anyway, I was thinking technical. And
one thing I think is really interesting about this award, too, is just that Chadwick Boseman genuinely, even if he was alive right now, he would have won this award. Because it really is the best performance in this category.
Mm-hmm.
You could watch this and you could watch Black Panther and not know it's the same person.
Okay.
He truly reinvents himself for this performance.
And this was his last performance.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, and like he had kept this illness so secret, you know, and it was almost like there was very few people who knew what was going on with him.
Yeah. And it's amazing too because he also had The Five Bloods come out, which was another great performance of his. Mm-hmm. So the fact that posthumously he had two amazing performances to choose from for the awards is just astounding.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
After watching The Five Bloods, I was like, oh, he's going to get nominated for this. And then I saw, you know, and then I saw Ma Rainey, and I was like, oh, no, he's going to get nominated for this.
Yeah.
It's just like, he was incredible.
He really was incredible, and it just, that was tough. That was not a good, that was a really other bad part of 2020.
Yeah.
Best performance by an actress in a supporting role in any motion picture. Again, Jodie Foster in the Mauritanian.
This is a movie that has not come out yet. Similar to like back when I remember 1917 like swept to the Golden Globes the year it came out, and like it hadn't come out yet.
Yeah, it was like because it was like supposed to come out in late December.
Yeah, it was like a staggered release and a bunch of stuff. But like this was really interesting because like I had to look up the Mauritanian and like it looks great. You know, I'm excited. Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing it. But it was also kind of exciting to see Jodie Foster get to accept the award next to her wife on the couch in their pajamas. Yeah. That was the most exciting thing about it.
I almost think that a lot of these actors and actresses were like, I kind of like this. You know, I don't have to get into a corset. I don't have to wear, you know, a tux or a dress. I can sit on the freaking couch with my significant other in my pajamas.
My dog.
Perfect.
Best performance by an actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Rosamund Pike in I Care a Lot. Another Netflix win for her, and that one was unexpected for me. So
I think most people were thinking Anya Taylor-Joy was going to grab this one. Because Emma was.
It was either that or Maria Bakalova for Borat.
Borat. And I really
she had
think,
a lot of hype.
I really think she was going to. I thought she was going to take it for sure. Yeah.
There was so much hype on Emma when it came out. Like early last year.
Yeah, it was a February release.
It was one of the very last movies in theaters for sure, and then it kind of the timing of it just faded away a little bit.
And then Queen's Gambit came out, and it was like, what? Okay, so best performance by an actress in a motion picture drama. See, and this is where I think it should be musical drama. I mean, kind of, you know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I know. It's a discussion for later. Andra Day, The United States versus Billie Holiday, and it wasn't really a musical, but like
it was music themed movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, the studios can choose whichever category they want to compete in.
That's true.
And so they submit the movies into whichever category they want.
Amazing.
The Andra Day. Like, I don't think anyone expected she was going to get
Not
it.
At all.
Not even her.
No, she did not. Yeah.
So that was one of the most fun acceptance speeches to watch.
And did you see everyone behind her?
Yeah, and the one guy holding his fist.
I mean, they were bawling behind her, crying, bawling behind her. Yeah, she and her parents. I mean, it was just
Yeah, it was a big surprise. It was cool.
Best director motion picture, Chloe Zhao.
Chloe Zhao. Yeah. Honestly, super. Yeah. In a way, I remember before on mic, I had said that I thought this year was going to be a competition between Mank and Nomadland. It should have been so obvious that Nomadland is going to be the big winner this year. It's super awesome that Chloe Zhao won for it. she and she was also nominated along with Emerald Fennell and Regina King. So like this was the most women nominated in this category.
Right.
Like I think in all of the Golden Globes history. And Chloe Zhao is super deserving of it. I think it is the movie to. It's the movie of this award season for sure. It was
Frances
also
McDormand, she can do no wrong.
Totally.
So.
The other funny thing to watch during that part was every time someone else won when David Fincher was on screen, he would like take a shot.
Nice. Yeah. He would take a losing shot. So
great.
A loser shot.
But I'm sure Fincher's a good sport.
Oh, he is. Best motion picture, musical, or comedy. Borat. Very nice.
Yeah, it was the only one to do it.
Yeah. And finally, best motion picture, drama, Nomadland.
Yep. Yeah, it was. I mean, again, super awesome that it got the two awards it deserved the most. It was super great to see that. I think
was this film at Sundance?
Nomadland? No. I don't think it was. I don't think it hit the festivals until midway last year.
Midway last year.
So it was going to like Venice. It was going to Berlin.
Berlin, yeah.
I think when we think about the Golden Globes as being maybe predictors or precursors to the Oscars, that's always sort of a tricky thing. I mean, the Golden Globes, they're one of those things like I don't take them too seriously, but again, because they start the awards season, sometimes it can be pretty obvious if something is rolling down the hill and gaining steam. And really gaining
just gonna sweep everything. Yeah.
I mean, when you see even the previews, the trailers, the marketing for this was just different, and really intriguing, I think, to a lot of people. So, especially right now.
One of the last things I do want to talk about is how. So the Hollywood Foreign Press Association is a different kind of body than the Academy, which was for the Oscars. Like it's only 93 people in the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, whereas the Academy is like 500.
Oh, a lot.
Mm-hmm. It's a bunch. And the HFPA has definitely gotten some flack for not having a diverse group of
every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're also known for like taking people on lavish trips and like it's known that like studios can kind of influence the voters to vote for stuff at the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
A lot's gonna come out.
Totally.
It has been. And did you notice the next day, Monday, there was a lot of press about this.
Totally.
There was a lot.
I mean, but in watching it this year though, like it was like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler were making jokes right at the Golden Globes.
They did not hold back.
Yeah.
They did not hold back.
And then the fact that like the three like governing members of the HFPA had to come out on stage in a obviously planned segment, but it was like we are claiming our intent to diversity and like we're going to diversify. It's like, wow, what a PR move you were doing in the middle of your own show.
Yeah, like I feel like they always get a female to do some type of speech.
Yeah.
I mean, the president does, he comes out a lot, or she, whoever. But they're definitely lacking, and they got punched in this year.
I mean, like if the Golden Globes didn't have a award ceremony that was aired on TV, I don't think anyone would pay attention to the Globes.
I agree.
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
Because I mean, like I don't think as an awards body there is respected as say like the Screen Actors Guild or there's a whole bunch of other more awards bodies that I feel like have more influence in award season than the Globes do. But just because the Globes are aired on TV, that's why we kind of pay attention to them.
Right.
Exactly.
And let's face it, like you at the Globes, you get a meal and you get a lot of champagne
and an open bar,
and there's an open bar in the back. So when they cut to commercial, you see everybody head to the back.
Totally.
You know what they're doing. They're probably doing shots and then running to the bathroom really quick and then coming back.
Yep.
So it's like, really? And then and the Oscars are so stiff, because they're not allowed to drink at the Oscars.
Totally.
And it's like, so you get what you get.
I mean, this year was sort of there was a chance that the Globes could have just been so much different because people are at home, and would people decide to drink at home just because it's the Globes, or would they hold back?
It looked like most were holding back.
Yeah,
you know,
Nobody
most were
was
holding
too
back.
shit-faced.
Maybe a little champagne.
Yeah,
It looked like for some people, but it didn't look like anyone was like, overtly drinking, or anything. So
in a way, I feel like it brought to the forefront. A lot of people were just like, this doesn't really matter. Yeah.
And it was late. I mean, it was late for some people. So East Coast.
Yeah,
it was late.
And,
Especially Jason Sudeikis in the UK.
Oh, poor guy. Yeah. Anyway,
I really liked that because right after the Globes, a lot of the talk was about that comedy series Emily in Paris.
Oh yeah.
That when it got nominated, everybody was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Are you kidding me?
But it came out that the producers of that show flew a bunch of members
of
makes
sense.
to Paris.
Yep.
To Paris, and it was like, well,
that's why.
This is what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Because any
that
other
show
year,
is
that
dumb.
show would not be nominated for anything.
Dumb.
Yeah.
That's the Golden Globes for you guys.
Yeah.
Weird. All over the place. I mean, so much to watch, though, if you haven't seen those, so we'll be here to talk about it.
I think the broadcast itself is up on Hulu now?
Yeah. I watched it live, and then I watched it on Hulu the next morning just to see if I'd missed anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's it.
Movies are fun, guys.
Yeah. We'll hopefully we'll talk about the Oscars when they happen in 2 months.
Oh, we are gonna watch the Oscars together.
Yeah.
Are we gonna try to do a live thing? Okay. That would be amazing.
All
right, guys. We'll talk to you next week. I'm Todd Leiser.
I'm Jared Russick.
I'm Julie Furness.
Nice.
Talk to you soon.